All right, today we're jumping into this incredible short film, The Echo of Unspoken Truths. And wow, it really dives deep into a question that I think a lot of us might be a little afraid of. What happens when the hero you look up to, their whole legacy is maybe built on a lie? So yeah, let's get right into it. So right from the get-go, the film sets up this massive, unavoidable conflict. On one hand, you've got the public legacy. This guy's a celebrated humanitarian. He's about to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. But on the other hand, you have the private truth, a family life that's been fractured by secrets, specifically a long-hidden affair. And this clash, this is really the engine that drives the entire story. Okay, so let's dive into our first section, a hero's hidden life. The scene is set on what should be the biggest night of this father's career. But just as he's getting ready, his son shows up, and he's not there to pop the champagne. Nope, he's there to basically pull the pin on the whole carefully crafted story of his father's greatness. And this is where you just have to appreciate the irony. I mean, listen to this line the father is practicing for his speech. He's literally saying that truth is his North Star. But that very idea, the concept of truth, is exactly what his son is about to take apart, piece by painful piece. And that whole dismantling process really kicks off in our second section, the unspoken truths. This is that moment, the one where all the polite smiles just fall away and the real conversation finally begins. A conversation where years and years of silence are about to be shattered. And it all starts with this one seemingly simple question from the son. Did you love her? It's so direct, right? It's not an angry accusation. It's just a question. And it just cuts through decades of everyone pretending, of everyone avoiding the topic. This one question is the key that unlocks the whole thing. And the father's first move? Oh, it's a classic defense mechanism. He tries to compartmentalize it, to just dismiss it. That was a different time, a different me. He's basically trying to stuff the past into a box and lock it away, hoping he can just shut this whole conversation down before it even really gets started. And what he's doing here, it's a perfect example of what psychologists call a family myth. You see, the son isn't just bringing up an old secret. He's attacking the very foundation, the story this family tells itself just to keep things stable. This myth exists for a reason, to protect the father's heroic image and to let everyone ignore a pain that's just too big to look at directly. And right here with this line, we finally see the son's real motivation. This isn't just about getting revenge or exposing a lie for the sake of it. No, this is about his mother. He is fighting to get her pain, her sacrifice acknowledged. He wants to write her story, which has been totally erased, back into the family history. So now that the truth is out there, you can see the father shift gears. He moves past denial and straight into defense mode, which brings us to our third section, a father's justification. And this is where we get to see the really complex, kind of nuanced way he tries to stop his legacy from completely crumbling. Now, this line right here, there's your truth and there's my truth. This is the absolute cornerstone of his entire argument. By saying that truth is subjective, that it's all just a matter of perspective, he's trying to invalidate everything his son is saying. It's a pretty clever move, right? He's trying to change the debate from what happened to whose story is more valid. And you can actually break down his whole rationalization into 3 clear steps. First, he blames outside pressure. Oh, the work was just all-consuming. Then, step 2, he minimizes the damage, calling a long-term affair just one little mistake. And finally, he plays his trump card, the greater good argument. He basically tries to use all his public achievements as a shield to deflect from his private failures. And when you lay it all out like this, you can just see the huge, unbridgeable gap between them. It's so clear. For the son, this whole thing is about betrayal, about his mother's erased pain. But for the father, it's about a human mistake that he genuinely believes is canceled out by a lifetime of doing good in the world. They're living in 2 completely different realities. But here's the thing. This big confrontation doesn't really end with any kind of resolution. Instead, it just fades. And that brings us to our 4th section, the lingering echo. The film just leaves us there, in the quiet, uncomfortable aftermath, to wrestle with all the questions that are still hanging in the air. And really, the whole film kind of boils down to this one really haunting question. If 2 people can't even agree on the fundamental facts of their own past, is there any real path forward? I mean, can you actually forgive someone without a shared truth to even stand on? And that's the whole point, isn't it? The reason this story is so powerful is because it flat out refuses to give us an easy answer. It forces us, the viewers, to sit with that discomfort, to grapple with the complexity of it all, and to realize, you know what? There are no simple villains or heroes here. The father's last plea is so telling. He doesn't ask for forgiveness. He doesn't even really ask for understanding. He asks for a truce. Think about that. It's basically him admitting that this war over their family's story is far from over. He's just asking for a temporary ceasefire so he can get through his big night. So what are we left with? Well, we're left with these lasting echoes, which is where the film gets its name. You have a legacy that is now permanently tainted. You've got the weight of memory, which is now heavier than ever. You see just how fragile these family stories can be. And underneath it all, that grief and anger, it's all still there, completely unresolved. And all of this brings us to our final section, why this story matters. Because, look, while this is the story of one specific family's conflict, the themes, they are absolutely universal. Because when you get right down to it, this isn't just a story about them. Let's be honest, pretty much every family has its own unspoken truths, right? This film holds up a mirror, and it forces us to look at the stories we tell, and maybe more importantly, the ones we choose to leave out. So, what are the big takeaways here? Well, first, that no amount of public praise can ever truly erase private pain. Second, that truth inside a family is often just a matter of who has the power to tell the story. We're also reminded that the past is never really gone. Its echoes are always shaping our present. And finally, and this is a big one, acknowledging a painful truth, that's not the finish line. That's usually just the starting point. And so the film leaves us with one final, powerful question to carry with us. What is the real price of an unspoken truth? Is it the false sense of stability we think we're buying? Or is it the genuine connection that silently, day by day, just erodes in that silence? It's something to think about, for sure, long after the credits roll.